After spending months planning our gender reveal party, I stepped outside for fresh air, only to catch my husband in the backseat of his truck with his ex. When I confronted him, he grinned and said, "At least now you know the baby isn't yours." I didn't cry. I quietly called a lawyer that night, and the next day, canceled the entire party, leaving him explaining alone. I'm not good at talking about myself, but I need to tell this. Because maybe someone out there is about to trust the wrong person, like I did. I'm 33. My name is Amanda. I live just outside Knoxville, Tennessee, in a small town where people still wave at you in the grocery store. I work as a school counselor. I like quiet days, hot coffee, and simple things. I thought my life was simple. I thought it was safe. Then I saw my husband in the back of his truck with his ex, 30 minutes before the gender reveal party for the baby I carried after years of heartbreak. And everything broke. Let me take you back. Cody and I met 6 years ago at a backyard barbecue. He wore worn jeans and smelled like pine and motor oil. He talked slow, but with purpose, like he meant every word. I fell hard, fast. Everyone said he was a solid guy. He fixed things. He worked hard. He made people laugh. We got married the next spring under a willow tree in his granddad's field. But trying for a baby changed everything. We struggled for years. I had one miscarriage that nearly broke me. I started blaming myself. Cody stopped talking much. We both got quiet. But we didn't give up. We did 2 rounds of IVF. Anyone who's been through it knows, it drains you. Emotionally, physically, financially. But we finally got lucky. The test turned positive. I stared at the 2 pink lines for 20 minutes, shaking. I cried so hard I couldn't see. Cody hugged me, said we finally made it. I believed him. For the next few months, I poured myself into planning the gender reveal. I know not everyone likes those parties. But for me, it wasn't about social media. It was about marking a moment we thought we'd never get to. We planned it for June. I reserved a barn on a friend's property, hand-painted signs, made balloon garlands by hand. I bought a custom cake with colored filling, only the baker knew if it was blue or pink. Cody seemed excited. He told me to let him handle the drinks and chairs. "I got this, babe," he said. Cody left around noon to get extra chairs from his buddy. He was gone over 2 hours. When he came back, I noticed his shirt was on inside out and his face looked flushed. I asked, "You all right?" He mumbled, "Just hot. Long line at the store." Something about the way he avoided my eyes made my stomach twist. But I didn't say anything. I was tired, 6 months pregnant, and I wanted the next day to be happy. I slept like crap that night. June 17th. It was 94 degrees. I was sweating through my dress before noon. Cody was out back setting up coolers. He barely talked to me that morning. Just said, "Gonna make this a day to remember." Yeah. He sure did. Around 2:30, I started to feel dizzy. I told Cody I was going to sit outside for a minute. He nodded and kept stacking soda bottles. I walked out the back door and toward the oak tree near the edge of the property. I've always loved that spot. Good shade. Peaceful. That's when I heard it. A thud. Then a faint laugh. It came from Cody's truck, parked near the tree line. Something told me not to look, but I did anyway. I walked quietly, barefoot, not even thinking. The windows were fogged. The backseat was moving. And there they were. Cody. Half naked. And Jenna. His ex. The one he swore he hadn't talked to in years. She was straddling him, her skirt pushed up, hands in his hair. I didn't scream. I didn't knock on the window. I just stood there, frozen, as my throat went dry. After about 10 seconds, I turned and walked away. I remember everything about that walk. The way the grass felt under my feet. The sound of birds chirping. The burn in my chest. I walked into the house, up the stairs, into the guest bathroom. Locked the door. Sat on the edge of the tub and called my lawyer. I had met her the year before when Cody and I hit a rough patch. We never filed anything, but I kept her number. Something in me must have known. I said, "It's time." She asked, "You ready?" I said, "I'm more ready than I've ever been." She told me to come in Monday. I hung up and stared at my reflection for a long time. I didn't cry. When Cody came in, his shirt was back on, but his hair was a mess. I stood at the kitchen sink, drinking water, heart still racing. He said, "What's up?" I turned slowly and said, "How was the back seat?" He froze. Then he grinned. Grinned. "At least now you know the baby isn't yours." I stared at him, jaw locked. "You think that's funny?" He shrugged. "You've been cold for months. We both know you stopped loving me first." I didn't respond. I didn't scream. I walked past him, got my phone, and started making calls. First, the barn. "Sorry, we need to cancel." Then the bakery. "Party's off." Then I texted every person invited, "Due to a personal emergency, today's event is cancelled. Thanks for understanding." Cody watched me do it. His face turned red. "You're really canceling the whole thing?" "My parents are already on the way." Despite the texts and cancelled plans, people still showed up. I guess some didn't see the message, and others just thought it couldn't be that serious. His parents arrived first. His mom, Brenda, had made a diaper cake and wore a shirt that said Nana to be. She looked so happy. I pulled her aside. "We need to talk." She followed me into the garage, confused. I told her everything. Every disgusting detail. Her face dropped. She didn't cry right away. She just went still, like she'd gone numb. "You're sure?" she whispered. "I saw them. In the truck. Just hours ago." Brenda took a deep breath, then walked straight back into the house and slapped Cody across the face so hard I thought his jaw would come off. Right in front of his dad, his cousin Mike, and 2 coworkers. "You cheated on a pregnant woman? Your wife? You disgusting little," she couldn't even finish. He tried to play the victim, claimed he'd been neglected and pushed away, but nobody bought it. His own father called him an embarrassment and walked out. Brenda stayed with me that night. What Cody didn't know was that I had quietly started documenting everything a few weeks earlier. Bank statements, text messages, location pings. I didn't trust him fully, and I didn't know why, but I'm glad I listened to my gut. That meant when Monday came, I was ready. My lawyer was a bulldog. She filed fast. I asked for the house, the car, and full custody with supervised visitation. I wasn't going to let someone like him near my baby without a fight. He got served 3 days later at the supply store where he worked. Right in front of his boss. The text I got from him that night said, "You're ruining my life over one mistake." I didn't respond. The real twist came a week later when Jenna, yes, that Jenna, messaged me on Facebook. I almost deleted it without reading. But curiosity got the better of me. It said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know he told you the baby wasn't yours. He told me you were separated." I wouldn't have touched him if I knew the truth. I didn't reply, but I read every word she sent. Turns out, Cody had been feeding her lies for months. Told her I was staying in the guest room. Told her we were just keeping up appearances for the baby. She also sent screenshots. Texts from him calling me frigid, saying he felt trapped, asking her to move in after the dust settles. I saved every message. I printed them out. Instead of laying low, Cody decided to go public. He made a Facebook post claiming I cheated, that the baby wasn't his, and that I was mentally unstable. He tagged his buddies. He used photos from the gender reveal prep to make it look like he was the one blindsided. But people aren't dumb. A neighbor commented, "Funny, since I saw Jenna's car outside your place that afternoon." His post got flooded with questions. Within 2 hours, he deleted it. But the damage was done. Not to me, to him. Now, even people he thought were loyal to him started texting me. His best friend, Travis, messaged me, "Didn't believe the rumors till now. Just wanted you to know, he's on his own." When we got to court, Cody showed up late and looking like hell, wrinkled shirt, stubble, eyes bloodshot. He thought he could still charm his way through it. Then my lawyer pulled out the stack of evidence. Photos. Screenshots. Messages. Witness statements from neighbors and even his own mom. The judge took one look at him and said, "Sir, you should thank your lucky stars this isn't a criminal hearing." He got supervised visitation twice a month. But there's more to come. 2 weeks after the court hearing, Cody's lawyer filed a motion demanding a paternity test. I wasn't surprised. It lined up with what he said during the argument, the smirk, "The baby isn't yours" jab. He was trying to turn the knife. Or maybe he actually believed his own lies. Either way, I agreed to the test. I had nothing to hide. When the results came in, I let my lawyer open the envelope first. She glanced at it, then slid it across the desk to me. 99.9999% probability. Cody was the father. I smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was bitter. Tired. Sad. We sent a certified copy to his lawyer. 2 days later, I got a voicemail from Cody. Okay, you proved your point. Can we talk? Like, just talk? I'm sorry for what I said. I wasn't thinking. I didn't respond. Word got around town faster than wildfire. The day after the test results were confirmed, I got a message from one of Cody's old coworkers at the supply store. "Thought you'd want to know. Cody got fired." Apparently, the manager didn't like the drama following him to work. Especially after one of the customers confronted him about what he'd done. Turns out she followed me on Facebook and recognized him from the post. He'd tried to play the victim again, but people weren't buying it anymore. He lost the job. Then lost his truck, couldn't keep up with the payments. Jenna had blocked him. His own family stopped returning his calls, except Brenda, who only checked in for the baby's health. And still, I stayed silent. No trash talk. No posts. Just quiet action. Cody's younger sister, Natalie, sent me a long message in August. She had been away at school during most of the drama but came back for a break. Her message was a bombshell. "I think Cody was seeing Jenna before you got pregnant." She said she'd seen texts on his phone the previous Thanksgiving. Flirty ones. She hadn't said anything because she wasn't sure what was going on, and figured if you'd made it through IVF together, you must have worked it out. I sat there staring at the screen, thinking about that timeline. If it was true, he was cheating on me while I was giving myself hormone shots. While I cried in the bathroom every night wondering if I'd ever be a mom. That's when something inside me snapped. Not in an angry, screaming way. In a cold, calculating way. Cody still had visitation rights, but only if he showed up at the designated center and followed the rules. He missed 2 appointments. Showed up late to a third. Smelled like alcohol. I reported it every time. My lawyer filed to suspend visitation indefinitely until he completed parenting classes and submitted to random drug and alcohol testing. At the next court date, Cody showed up clean-shaven and polite. Tried to paint it all as growing pains. But the judge looked at him and said, "You've burned every bridge. You don't get to play victim anymore. Visitation, suspended. Indefinitely." He tried to make a scene after court. Yelled at me in the parking lot. "You've turned everyone against me." I said, calmly, "No. You did that all by yourself." Later that night, I got an email from Jenna. Subject line, you should know this. What she sent me. Proof Cody had opened a credit card in my name the year before. He used it to buy tools, hotel rooms, and pay off a debt from when they were still secretly seeing each other. My name. My credit. I stared at the screen, hands shaking. This wasn't over. I didn't even know how he got the info to open that card. My social, my birth date, I figured maybe from one of the old mortgage applications we did together. Back when I still trusted him. I went to the bank the next morning with Jenna's screenshots in hand. The woman at the desk raised her eyebrows as she looked over the documents. How much is on the card? I asked. Almost 8,000, she said quietly. And it's delinquent. My stomach dropped. Not only had he betrayed me in the most personal ways, he was tanking my credit while doing it. And worse? Half the charges were after I got pregnant. Hotels. Bars. Amazon purchases that I never saw show up. I filed a police report that afternoon. Then I sent copies of everything, bank statements, Jenna's emails, police documentation, to my lawyer. She called me within the hour. I think we need to press criminal charges, she said. The sheriff's deputy showed up at his trailer a week later. I wasn't there, but Brenda texted me. They just took him in. He was in boxers. Neighbors saw everything. The charges: credit fraud, identity theft, and a pending investigation into additional misuse of my personal information. He was released on bail the next day, but the damage was done. Now his name was in the paper. Local man accused of using wife's identity to open credit accounts. And I made sure every single person in town saw it. Not out of pettiness. Out of truth. People needed to know who he really was. One night, I went looking through our shared files and papers. Old insurance stuff, paperwork we never fully sorted. That's when I found a storage unit key. I didn't remember renting one. We never had a need. The tag on the key had a location just outside of town. I drove there the next morning, 6-month-old Caleb in the back seat. The guy at the counter looked surprised but polite when I handed him the key. Unit 54. He opened it. Inside were boxes. Some labeled, some not. Clothes, tools, old furniture. But there was also a big bin marked J+C in Sharpie. I opened it. Inside, photos of Cody and Jenna together, recent ones. Clothes that weren't hers. Notes. A half-written letter. We'll get the baby later. Let her think it's hers for now. I couldn't breathe. He planned to take my son. He never meant to co-parent. He had a whole secret life, a hidden space where he kept parts of his future with her like a sick backup plan. I called my lawyer again. I want a restraining order, I said. Now. 2 days after I filed, Cody came to the house. He was drunk. Slurring his words. Eyes red. I was holding Caleb, and my heart started racing. I just want to see him, he said, voice shaking. You can't keep him from me forever. I stood firm. You come any closer, and I'll call the police. He looked at me, broken. You were supposed to be the love of my life. I didn't even flinch. You made your choices, I said. Now go live with them. After that night, I changed the locks. Added cameras. I even got a dog, a big, loud shepherd mix named Max. Not just for protection, but for peace. Something about having another set of ears and eyes helped me sleep again. The restraining order went through within a week. Cody didn't show up in court to fight it. But he wasn't done ruining things. I got a call from the bank. He'd tried to access our old joint account online, one I had already had frozen. They flagged it immediately. His name was still on file as a past user, but I had removed all access months before. Still, it proved he hadn't let go. He was trying to find any way back in. I started feeling like I was living in a shadow. Always looking over my shoulder. Always checking if the doors were locked twice. This wasn't just heartbreak anymore, it was war. And I wasn't going to lose. With my lawyer's help, I filed a civil suit for damages. Credit fraud. Emotional distress. Identity theft. Custody violations. Everything. Cody didn't take it seriously until he got the notice. He tried to send an apology through Brenda. A handwritten letter, begging me not to ruin him forever. I didn't read it. I gave it to my lawyer. The court date came. Cody looked thinner. More tired. But I didn't care. He chose this. He lit the match and threw it at everything we had. The judge ruled in my favor. He owed me over $34,000. Payments would be garnished directly from whatever job he could hold. Any tax return he got? Mine. Any future settlement? Mine. His credit? Wrecked for good. He'd need 10 years to dig out. But the money wasn't the win. The win came when I stood in that courtroom and said, loud and clear, "You will never see my son again." The judge agreed. After the ruling, Brenda pulled me aside in the courthouse hallway. "I have to tell you something," she said, looking ashamed. She explained that Cody had come to her 2 years earlier and asked for help with money. Said it was for IVF medication but used it to buy gifts for Jenna. She found out months later but didn't tell me. "I thought if you stayed married, it was better for the baby." That broke me in a way I didn't expect. I walked away without saying anything. I haven't spoken to her since. I'd trusted too many people who thought protecting him was more important than protecting me. Never again. Caleb is almost 1. He's walking now. Laughing. Saying little words. He doesn't know what happened. He doesn't know his father tried to take him away, or that his mom fought like hell to keep him safe. And one day, when he's old enough, I'll tell him. I'll tell him not just about the lies and betrayal, but about the strength it took to rise from it. I'll tell him the truth, not just the facts, but the lesson. Never let someone decide what your worth is. He's working nights at a loading dock an hour away. No car. No friends. Jenna left the state. His credit's wrecked. His name is trash in every corner of our town. I don't smile when I think about it. But I do sleep better. Because in the end, he made his bed. And I just made sure he had to lie in it, alone.